World Series is just a few days away from being over, and Major League Baseball will crown a new champion. So in today's video, we are going to break down the timeline, everything you need to know from the Red Sox perspective of what's going to happen directly after the World Series. Because once the World Series ends, all hell breaks loose. Chris Cotillo put out an article breaking down the timeline. He did a really great job of Mass Live. He was fantastic. And he said in his article, the other 28 teams that are not participating in the World Series are all just kind of sitting and waiting for the series to end. Because then once the series ends, the clock starts and all hell starts to break loose. And there is a lot that is going to happen within that first week and a half after the World Series ends. We're going to break down all of that. We're going to break down the dates. We're going to break down the players involved. And I'm going to give you my thoughts on what I think is going to happen basically directly once the World Series ends. Welcome back into this episode of the Red Sox Rundown. I am your host, Jack Lauderay. When the Red Sox make moves, which they are going to, we will make videos. There's going to be a lot of decisions that have to be made within the next week and a half, as well as just throughout this postseason, offseason. Like, they're going to make trades. They're going to make signings. They are going to make this team better. I genuinely believe that John Henry, Craig Breslow, and the front office believe that this is a team that can compete, but they need to get better. So when the Red Sox make moves, we will have videos. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Join the family. We are 40 subscribers away from 7,000 subscribers. So hit that sub button if you haven't already. And let's get into the video. What comes next? That's what the question is. Immediately, once the World Series ends, 4 Red Sox players are going to hit free agency. The players are as follows: Steven Matz, Justin Wilson, Dustin May, and Rob Refsnyder are all instantly, as soon as the final out of the World Series, going to officially be free agents. Chris Cotillo gave his thoughts. He thought that Wilson, Matz, and Refsnyder could all be potential re-sign candidates on cheap deals. My take on this is I think Justin Wilson is a candidate to be re-signed. He did his job this year in the bullpen. He was absolutely fantastic. But I think Rob Refsnyder is a must. I think he's a must. I think he is that platoon outfield bench player that mashes lefties that was incredibly valuable to the team this past year. And has been invaluable to the team for all the years that he's been here. So I think of the 4, Rob Refsnyder is the one that I think absolutely, without a doubt, should be re-signed. And I think he will be. I truly believe that it's Red Sox or retirement for Ref. I believe that. He was threatening to retire last year because the Red Sox didn't want to pick up his option. So I think that'll be the same thing that happens this year. I do expect Rob Refsnyder to be back on this team, so that is my prediction. Justin Wilson, I think they should also give a shout as well. Next up, opt-out decisions. There are 2 players in particular that we are focusing on the most. We've been talking about them ad nauseum since the season ended. That is Alex Bregman and Trevor Story. The opt-out decisions need to be made on day 5 after the World Series ends. So 5 days after the World Series ends, we will officially know if Bregman and Story are opting out. Of course, according to reports, Bregman is, and that's not a surprise. I fully expect that to happen. We have not heard a peep about Trevor Story. Now, there are reports, there are rumors, there's speculation, but we have not heard a concrete report about Trevor Story. And in my opinion, I think that means he's going to opt in. If I have to give my predictions on this entire thing, I do think Bregman will opt out. The reports are out there that it's basically a certainty that it's going to happen. Although not official yet, I think we all know he's going to opt out. Trevor Story, on the other hand, again, we have no idea. We have not heard a single thing. I think he opts in. I think the Red Sox front office thinks he's going to opt in, and I think he opts in. So those are my predictions. We will know 5 days after, at the very latest, whoever opts in, we will know at that point. But yeah, I do think we kind of know where this is going to go. But nonetheless, it's not confirmed until it's confirmed. Does Trevor Story opt out of his contract? O, if you think he's going to opt out, or I, if you think he's going to opt in. I'm typing my I for opt in. I think he will opt into his contract, but you let me know down below. I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. That's what this channel is about. It's about audience interaction. So get your thoughts down below in the comments. I for opt out, or excuse me, O for opt out, I for opt in. What do you think Trevor Story is going to do with his contract? Next, there are other contract option decisions that have to be made. Okay? 3 players in particular have to have decisions made about their options. The following players: Liam Hendriks has a mutual option with the Red Sox. Lucas Giolito has a mutual option with the Red Sox, and Jarren Duran has a club option with the Red Sox. If you don't know what a mutual option means, that means both the club and the player have to opt into the deal. So if one of them says no, then the deal is null and void. So Liam Hendriks and Lucas Giolito both have those types of deals. Club options is exactly what it says. It is the club's decision whether or not they want to pick up the deal. I do have some notes from Chris Cotillo. I have his article up. I wanted to read what he had to say because he does a much better job at explaining it. Liam Hendriks has a $12 million mutual option for 2026. This is coming from Chris Cotillo of Mass Live. It will be declined. I think we all know that. They'll have to pay him a $2 million buyout, and he will hit free agency. He will be a free agent. This one, again, I think is certain. Liam Hendriks will not be on the team next year. The club, the Red Sox, will decline his option, his $12 million option, and they will pay him a $2 million buyout. Lucas Giolito's, maybe not as cut and dry. He has a $19 million mutual option. That buyout would be $1.5 million if the Red Sox decline it. The expectation, according to Cotillo, is that it will not be picked up by somebody. I think maybe Giolito. I think he might think he can get more in free agency, and that will make him a free agent. Duran, on the other hand, is a little different. We talked about the contract dispute this past offseason in arbitration. There was it was going to go to arbitration court, which was something that we didn't really want to happen. They gave him a contract extension, which paid him some more money and gave him some incentives. So he's under team control through 2028. So no matter what happens, Jarren Duran will be on the club next year. But they can lock in his salary at $8 million next year by picking up his option the week after the World Series. If they decline the option, if the Red Sox decline Duran's option, they will have to pay a $100,000 buyout, and then they go back to arbitration. So that's basically what that means. Baseball Trade Rumors projects Duran to earn $8.4 million if they go into arbitration. So if they just lock in the option, that's an $8 million salary. I think they will lock in the option because it's just cheaper, and we know the Red Sox like to be cheaper. But here are my takes on the situation. I wanted to get that all out. That was a lot of information from Cotillo, but I wanted to say that so you guys had the information of what was going on. My predictions. The Red Sox are going to decline Hendriks' option. I think that's obvious. He will not be on this team next year. I think Giolito will decline his option. We're about to talk about him again in a second with the qualifying offer. And the Red Sox, I think, will pick up Duran's option. Because, again, if he goes through arbitration, he's probably going to make more money than he would if they picked up the option. So I think they're going to pick up the option, keep him here, have him under team control. Again, he would have been under team control anyways, but, you know, I think they just opt into it and they carry on with their days. If you're excited for the offseason to start, I'm definitely excited. You know, we haven't had a lot to talk about. We've had some trade rumors, we've had some free agency rumors, but no real concrete things have happened yet. Once the offseason starts, all hell breaks loose. I'm excited for the offseason. If you're excited for the offseason, go down below, like today's video. I think we're all excited for the offseason. We're ready for stuff to start happening. So like the video if you've not already. And yeah, do it so that you can show me that the that you're excited for the offseason. All right, next, qualifying offer deadline. All right, so some players are eligible for qualifying offers. And basically what that means is if you give someone a qualifying offer and they go to another team and they sign with another team, you get a draft pick. So Lucas Giolito, who I just said we were going to talk about, is eligible for a qualifying offer. Here are the details. What is a qualifying offer? It's a one-year deal worth a specific amount of money. And again, they can either accept the qualifying offer and re-sign with the team, or they can go to another team. The other team has to pay them that money or more. And if they do, then the team that gave them the qualifying offer gets a draft pick. The value for this year's qualifying offer is $22.025 million. Again, it's a one-year deal. So that would be 1 year, $22.025 million deal. The deadline to give qualifying offers is November 18th. So this one is a little bit later. It's not going to happen right away. It will be a few weeks, in the next few weeks. But Lucas Giolito, like I said, is eligible for the qualifying offer. Cotillo had some words on this as well. He said that, let me find what he was going to say. There is a reasonable chance, this is coming from Chris Cotillo, especially after dealing with elbow issues that kept him out of postseason play, that he would take the qualifying offer in return if the Red Sox gave it to him. If Giolito declines the qualifying offer and goes into free agency, they'll get draft pick compensation. So what do we think is going to happen? I genuinely have no idea. If I were the Red Sox, I would not give him the qualifying offer because, again, like Cotillo says, Giolito, after having some injury concerns, probably will take the $22 million. I don't know if I want to have that $22 million on my roster. Giolito would be like your 4 or your 5, realistically, next year. Because the assumption is that they are going to bring in a certified number 2. So my thought would be Crochet number 1, whoever you bring in is your number 2, Bayo is your number 3. You're really going to pay $22 million for 1 year of a number 4? I wouldn't do that, especially with Giolito having elbow issues that kept him out of the postseason. I wouldn't do it. But I don't know if the Red Sox are going to do it. Do they think that he will get more money in free agency? Do they think he will decline it and go elsewhere? And then they get that draft pick. We know the Red Sox love their draft picks. So that is something to definitely watch out for. Will the Red Sox give Lucas Giolito the qualifying offer? I genuinely have no idea what they're thinking or what they want to do. It's going to be very interesting to see nonetheless. What do you think? Will the Red Sox give Giolito the QO? Type Y for yes if you think they do. Type N for no if you think they do not. I genuinely have no idea. I can't give you an answer for this. I wouldn't if I was the Red Sox. But who knows? Maybe they like him enough to bring him on for another year and make him the 4. I just think that's a bit of an overpay for a 4. But you did pay Buehler $21 million? And he ended up being your 4. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Y for yes and for no. You let me know down below. Finally, 40-man roster moves. All right. So the Red Sox currently are at 38 members of the roster. They got rid of Isaiah Campbell and Jose De Leon. They designated them from assignment earlier this month. So they are at 38 members of the 53-man roster. The way that Cotillo puts it, if all the free agent departures happen that we think are going to happen, they should have 32 open roster spots on the 40-man. They have 9 players coming off of the 60-day IL. Why is that, you might ask? Because the 60-day IL does not exist in the offseason. There is no 60-day IL. So these 9 players will all have to come off of the 60-day IL and be reinserted back into the 40-man roster. So if you do the math, 32 on the roster, that means there will be 41 players for 40 spots. Tristan Casas, Cutter Crawford, Hunter Dobbins, Luis Guerrero, Tanner Houck, Vaughn Grissom, Marcelo Meyer, Patrick Sandoval, Josh Winkowski are all set to come off the 60-man roster. And I forgot to put the L3, so I'm going to put it here. The deadline for this to happen is November 18th, the same day that is the deadline for qualifying offers. So someone's going to have to go. A player is going to have to go off your roster. Some of the options that Cotillo lists, Giovanni Moran, Josh Winkowski, could potentially be names for that. And then you're at 40, which is great. But also of note, November 18th is also the deadline to protect Rule 5 draft-eligible players. What does that mean, Jack? If you have a prospect on your team for enough years and they never make it on the 40-man roster, they are then eligible for the Rule 5 draft. The Rule 5 draft takes place in December, and that is just you pool all of those prospects, and teams can draft those prospects. Garrett Whitlock, if I remember correctly, the Red Sox got in the Rule 5 draft. They got him, I believe, from the Yankees, if I remember correctly. So the Red Sox will have to protect Rule 5 eligible players also on November 18th, which means putting them on the 40-man roster. David Sandlin is the most notable player on that list, who they most certainly will put on the 40-man roster. So it's not as simple as just getting to 40 so you can get all of the 60-day IL people on. Because you've got to consider Rule 5 eligible players. And then what happens when you sign or trade for players? Those players are also going to have to get put on the 40-man roster. So more moves will have to be made in due time. So expect some DFAs. Expect some outright, releases. Players are going to be on the move very, very quickly. And I'm ready for it. I've been, chomping at the bit. I've been getting a little squeamish. Like I'm ready for the offseason to start. If you're ready for the offseason to start, type me down below in the comments. Show me you are pumped up for the offseason. I'm very excited. It's going to be very active. I think the Red Sox are in for an incredibly active offseason. I'm so excited. You guys have no idea. So make sure you subscribe because, like I said, when the Red Sox make a move, we are going to make a video. We've been covering coaching updates, for gosh sakes, about the coaching staff. That's all we've had to talk about. So if I'm doing that, you sure as hell know I'm going to do it when they make a roster move, when they make a trade, when they make a free agency move. We are going to do that here on the channel. So make sure you hit that subscribe button already. If you have not already, make this the fastest growing Red Sox channel on YouTube. That's where we're going to end it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow for another video. And until next time, go Sox.